first thing we do is we create a project list. So I've input the headings already in there, the project name, short description, the number of days planned, the number of days done. To calculate the project completion, we just do the done divided per planned. Here we have one, which is 100%. If you have less than 9 projects, then you just leave this empty. So to make things easier further down the track, what I like to do is to name the range. So if you've never done it, it's quite straightforward. You just select the range that you want to name, and you input the name in the top left corner here. Let's call this one project list, for instance. Let's call this one description. Let's call this one planned. And will be called done. Called completion here. Now while I'm at it, there is another validation field that you'll understand later that I need to create here. There are 3 tones, 1, 2, 3, and I will be creating a table here so we can use it later on. Now we need to create our boxes. So we try and bring our cells closer together so they are smaller boxes. And we have 10 wide. So we have one on each side, and then we have another one on the other side. And we have them 8 long and 7. So this will be our boxes. We can put grids for the time being, but it's not absolutely mandatory. So the first thing we do is we merge the one at the top. We do a merge and center here. And actually, while we're at it, we can do data validation on it. We do a data validation, and we select from list. And then we go in our previous tab, and we want only one of those 9 here. So now we should be able to select the project here. We will use this later on. There's something that we need for this box, and we will use that for conditional formatting, is to have a field that we will use to decide on the tone that we want to use. I'm just going to put it a different color, and there will be another field that we will use to retrieve, and I'm actually going to merge a couple of cells for this. We will retrieve the project completion. So for instance here, if I bring back project 1, we want to bring back the project completion in this field here. So here that will be, actually, if we start with the tone, it will be data validation as well. So we do a data validation from a list. And as far as list is concerned, we will go and retrieve this one. So here we have the 3 tones. If we want to be a little bit more explicit, we go to the data validation. And here in the input message, we remind the color. So let's say we will have 1 red, 2 type of violet, and 3 we will have blue. So this way, when we are here and we want to select one, there will be a reminder. Okay, I want to put this one in violet, for instance. So here we will be starting the retrieval of the project completion here. So we use 𝗥𝗲𝘀 if we have a recent version of Microsoft Excel. Otherwise, we can use the 𝗏𝗏𝗀. So first we retrieve the description. So we just first check that the field here is not blank. If it's blank, we don't want to retrieve anything. We want to leave all blank. Then we do an 𝗥𝗲𝘀. We check in the project list range. We check for that project here, and if we find it, we retrieve the description. The second field that we want to retrieve is a percentage completed. So we use this formula here. So once again, we check if the project is not blank, and then we input the words completed, and then we retrieve the percentage completion. So we use the text to format the percentage, because otherwise it's just going to give us a number with all these commas, and we don't want that. So that would retrieve the completed and put it under shape. So let's see if it works. So we have project 1 here. If I put project 3, it retrieves a different completion. So it's good. Now we just need to do the same for plan and done. Same principle for plan. We check if the field is not blank, the project is not blank, and then we write the words planned, and then we do an XLOOKUP, but this time we retrieve the planned range, and then we just put the number of days towards the end. So that gives us something like this, and then we do the same for done. Done here, so that should still be G5, G5, done. Remove down here, and then we do the done here. Now, very good. So I'm just going to remove those grids because they are a bit in a way. Here, let's remove those grids. Instead, I will put everything blank. So what I've done is I've put the background, the normal. If you right click here, you put modify, and you just take something gray to fill for the default. So I've taken the one at the outmost left, the lightest of gray. So this way every cell is gray, and then I can have this as a different color, as a white stand out. So that's it. So I retrieved everything. I can remove those X's now. I know that I have the shape, I have the data. I just need to do the formatting. And once it's done for one box, I will need to duplicate it 9 times and just do some minor changes on each box. So the first thing I would like to do is I need to put a name for those 2 fields at the top. That will make it much easier when we apply the conditional formatting to the other boxes. Done box 1, and here comp box 1. So that's it. So I've named those fields. So that's it. So now we need to format, do all formatting. Now we've done all we have our project list. We have our first box. We just need to show the percentage completion with a different color. And then we just need to apply a different color based on the tone. Okay, now if we do some formatting, first we format the header, conditional formatting, new rule, use a formula, and then we need to make sure that Excel uses actually the named box. So tone box 1 is equal to 1. And if this is the case, so we go with the red tone. So I'm just using the standard here, the standard Microsoft tones. 1, and I will just put a font of bold, color of white. So we need to do a bit of work to make sure that Microsoft understands it. So there's no more quota, so now it should work. So we just need to duplicate that 3 times. I mean, once, so I'm using 3 tones here, but you know, if you use only 1 tone, that would be much easier. So for 2, I'm just going to take the violet. Okay, and for the 3rd, I'll be using the blue, this blue here. So this is done for the top. Let's just check this. And this. Now to format the body of the box itself, we need two conditions. We need just to check the tone. And second, we need to check what is the percentage of the completion that's been done. So this is why I have to put that percentage completion here so we can use it. And what I do is I compare with this column here. I will turn it up with a color if the percentage completion is greater than 10%. If it's greater than 20, I will turn that one up as well, etc. So I have created 10 fields here between 0.1 to 1. And we will be using this. So I select the whole lot here. Conditional formatting, new rule. So the first rule is, as we've seen, I'm just going to put and tone box 1 is equal to 1. So that will be for the red. And then I've checked that this field here, which is completion box 1, is greater or equal to that field here, but I need to unlock the F. So it will just follow it up as we progress. And then I close the loop here. And the format for the red was this one, but I will do more colors and I will take a much lighter one here. So that can be fine-tuned, but that needs to be fine-tuned before we start copying and pasting all the boxes. So that's for 1. So if I put 1 here, better work. So we have 33%, so that's work. So if I put project 1, it should cover everything perfect. And project 4, that's it. So so this is where I think that we need to play with and if you think this is too dark, you come back here, you do a format here, more colors, and you put an even lighter color here. So you play with the slider here. And this is it. So now I duplicate that 3 times. It's the same for this with a different color. So 2. So this will be the violet this time, that I will put a very light color of towards there. The too light. That seems better. And then for this one, it will be the blue. 3. Oops, 3. I'll put the blue. Much lighter one. Okay. I check 2, 3. Okay, so I just want to put this a bit light. We'll just do some formatting now. Okay, so we'll put the round boxes around that later on, but what we can do, as mentioned, is we can hide all this stuff here. So I can hide all this data group, and then I'm hiding it. And then we know that we have those fields here. It's just a matter of when we create the other box to name the boxes with the box 2, as we see. So we just copy this, copy, and then we insert copy cells. And then we call this, so that was tone box 1, so we call this tone box 2. Make sure we press enter. And here we call it comp box 2. And that's it. So this should still work because it's just used the same reference, so that has followed, so that's good. So here, if we have a different project, it follows. If you change this, that changed the 2, that's because we haven't put the reference yet. So I'm just going to try and put them all at once here. Manage the rules. So we start with the headers first. And we need to put just 2 here. So it's much easier because we don't have to think about where it is. We just use the numbering of the box, and that's much easier. And now let's check. 2, 1, and 3. Let's change the project. Put the 100% one. So I think, okay, so it works. Just need to put back the tick here and we'll be good to go. So as Microsoft Excel only works with cells, and they are all very square, in order to round things up, we need to create a box. We insert a box which has no fill, and then we play around with the thickness of the box and the shade of the box until we find something that fits in perfectly on top of our squares. So by playing with the thickness, that allows us to remove the very square corners that those boxes have. Now, if we want to put a tick when the project is completed on the top right here, it's just a matter of writing this formula that we can move across because there is a reference cell. It will be always at the same spot. So we have, if this completion is equal to 1, which is 100%, then I put the letter A, and if not, I put blank. So the letter A, when applied to the 𝗏𝐻 font, gives you a tick. So this is how it would work. This is how we would do it.